pageantry, which will include a performance by the military band, precision drills, and a display showcasing the skills and traditions of the armed forces of the Republic. The official proceedings begin when the President of the Republic arrives. At this moment, the military choir will perform the national anthem, timed to coincide with display of the 21-gun salute, as well as the aircraft fly over and salute, if possible, depending on the weather, how it will be tomorrow, highlighting the patriotic spirit of the event. As it is tradition, the proceedings will be characterized by ceremonial processions involving provincial speakers, premiers, members of the judiciary, the deputy president, and culminating with the arrival of the president. These processions underscore the unity and cooperation between different levels and branches of government. All attendees, including members of parliament and their guests, will be physically present in the chamber and the public gallery. The chamber will seat approximately 490 members of parliament and representatives of South African Local Government Association, ensuring a full and participatory event. Other categories of guests, members of the public and the media, will be accommodated both in the public gallery of the hall and in the overflow areas at the parade adjacent to the City Hall, where there will be a marquee. For this opera, a diverse array of dignitaries reflecting the occasion's significance, both nationally and internationally, have been invited. We will also have Imbongi, as it is our tradition. The Imbongi's role, as we know, extends far beyond mere performance. Imbongis are tasked with poetically reflecting on the socio-economic and political state of our nation, offering insightful commentary on the country's rich cultural tapestry. For this year's Sona, the Imbongi will perform in Chivenda, chosen through a rotational selection process to ensure fair representation of South Africa's linguistic diversity. Through this opera, Parliament will once again collaborate with proudly South African government and fashion industry representatives to promote the use of locally produced attire to boost the local economy. And I'm sure, as members of our media, you'll ask some of the members who dress them, as you always do. I'm not sure whether we still have the fashion police amongst you, but well, that's sometimes what supports this event when people walk in the red carpet. But this is actually important because it not only promotes our designers, but it also promotes the art and the capability that South Africa has in the fashion industry. The opera, as I indicated earlier, will coincide with International Nelson Mandela Day. Parliament calls upon all parliamentarians, South Africans, and global citizens to emulate Madiba's selflessness and untiring service to humanity on this day. We encourage everyone to engage in a meaningful and impactful act of service to others, thereby changing the world around us. As presiding officers of Parliament, we'll take some time away from our duties to participate in service programs around Cape Town, working with non-governmental organizations and other institutions. Additionally, in partnership with the City of Cape Town, the Mandela exhibition at the City Hall will form part of the initiatives advancing the objectives of Mandela Day. We would like to conclude by once again affirming this historic event that marks the beginning of our 7th term of our democratic parliament, which in our view reaffirms an unwavering commitment to constitutional democracy. It serves as a powerful symbol of our nation's ability to overcome adversity and continue the important work of governance. We therefore look forward to welcoming all participants to this significant occasion, those who will be here physically and those who will be watching the proceedings at home. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, colleagues, members of the media. I wish to open the floor for questions. Just indicate your name and the media company you are representing. I will take the first round. You go first. Kevin, we must respect the guests because you are parliament-based, so we must allow the guests to start first, and then you will follow. You will be the second, then the third. Any other hand that I'm missing for this first round? Okay, those three hands. Thank you.
Good afternoon, guys. It's Mkosinati Shazi from Power FM News. I just have two questions. With the opening address of Parliament set to take place tomorrow, do you perhaps have a figure as to how much this process is set to cost the country? And secondly, the members of Parliament set to attend the opening address of Parliament. Are there any MPs that are set to boycott tomorrow's opening address? Because the reason why I'm asking is because during the budget votes, the economic freedom fighters said not enough time was given for the various departments to debate on a budget. So I just wanted to find out, will all members of Parliament be present in specific, the EFF and the MK party? Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you. I'm Kevin Brandt from ENCA. I would just like to know, my question was covered now in terms of cost, but I would also like to know if there will be a gala dinner following the proceedings, and also just in terms of if you can highlight who the guest of honor will be that will be attending or that have been invited.
Junior Kumalo from Newsroom Africa. Part of the reason why the event has been moved to the Cape Town City Hall is because of the fire that happened here in Parliament. Is it possible to get an update on how far the reconstruction has gone? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think those are the three hands. I will give respect to the presiding officers, and I think the STP as well. With regard to the building.
Well, thank you very much. With regards to the costs of how much the event will cost us, and STP will deal with that. The issue with regards to whether are there any members of Parliament who will boycott, as far as we know, as of now, no one has informed us that they will boycott. Obviously, the issue of the budget debates had been raised in our programming committee, and we did indicate to members that in terms of our legislation, the budget has to be approved by the end of July, which therefore means both houses, that is National Assembly and the NCOP, need to debate those budgets. So with all the will in the world, the time wouldn't have been enough. So there was an appreciation of that, and that's why we had to proceed with the budget debates. Committees were set up late. As you know, that the announcement of the executive took some time. We therefore were not able to configure the committees as we were supposed to. So after those were done, committees met, elected their chairpersons, got the briefing from ministers, directors general in their entities, and they reflected on the budget, albeit the limited time, and they were able to then undertake the debate. They are also continuing actually this afternoon. NCOP is also continuing with the debate. So we have noted those concerns, and they have been dealt with in terms of our committees in Parliament where we address some of these issues. I think the STP will then deal with the other matters about the update to the rebuilding of Parliament. I'm sure you have already seen some scaffolding and some work that is being undertaken already. But he will just give a brief background because it can take us such few minutes to deliberate the extent of progress that has been made in respect of the rebuilding of Parliament. SCP.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, Chairperson, and good afternoon to members of the media. I'll start on the issue of the rebuilding of Parliament. I think many of you will recall that we have got regular briefings that we give around how far we are and what is the planned completion of the reconstruction of Parliament. We are now at a stage where we have completed about 155 offices for members. Members of the media who would have been part of our last briefing in March, we also indicated that we lost a number of offices due to the fire, and out of those offices, about 204 offices were lost. So we then had to start a process of looking at alternative measures to reconfigure some of our offices, to start with the primary consideration to make sure that members are able to come to the precinct and work. So we had to refurbish about 155 offices, which we have now completed, and we are running short of 54 offices to be able to provide for all members of Parliament. We are also at a stage where we have about 14 committee rooms for sittings of committees, ranging between 25, others will be 30-seater, others will be 40, depending on the capacity required for portfolio committees that have now been set up. So that is also aimed at assisting members to discharge their responsibilities. The issue of the sittings of houses and plenaries takes place within Parliament, but of course for larger sittings like NA, the sittings from time to time we would use City Hall, and we're in the process of considering alternative venues. For the NCOP, at least we're not under pressure on that one. The sittings take place within the House because it was not affected by fire. On the actual reconstruction, there is work being done. We are now at a phase where we have cleared all the rubble. We are also at a stage where we are now dealing with the deconstruction phase, which we call demolishing of the building in terms of the partial areas that must be demolished whilst preserving others as a heritage building. So the contractor is due to finish by September in terms of demolition. Simultaneously, we're in the process of appointing a contractor who would then be tasked with rebuilding of the new Parliament, which we unveiled in March. So we look forward for that work to start in earnest, so that by January, brick and mortar phase actually take place, and we intend finishing this by April 2026 to be commissioned for service. On the budget of Parliament for the event, we have budgeted between 6 and 14 million. And the reason we budget that range is about looking at cost factors. In the last sitting in February, we budgeted 8.4 million as a budget. The actual expenditure may be less, it may be slightly more, depending on the reconciliation that we'll be doing. But this is the amount we have currently provided for on the nature of the event and scale. Thank you very much.
The chairperson will deal with the issue of who are the invited guests and the dinner.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. And once again, good afternoon to the esteemed guests of the media houses represented here today. On the issue of a gala dinner, due to financial constraints, unfortunately, we are unable to hold the gala dinner. The second question that was asked was in relation to the guests of honors that we have invited. I do have a list of them before me, which is our former president, President Thabo Mbeki, President Kgalema Motlanthe, as well as President Jacob Zuma, our former speakers and deputy president, Mama Ubalega Mbete. We also have the former deputy president, Umama Upumzile, Lambo Nguga, as well as Ubaba David Mabuza. We have also invited our former speakers by the likes of Ubaba Usisulu, Mamthandi Mudise, as well as Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngakula. We've also extended the invitation to the former chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, also the Chief Justice Zondo, as well as the Deputy Chief Justice Umama Umaya, and all other 15 judges, the Executive Mayor of Cape Town, as well as 9 eminent persons representing each of the provinces. However, we must also indicate that we are still awaiting the finalization of the confirmation based on the guest list that I have presented to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, other presiding officers and STP. The last round, Paul will be the first, and then Brajo will be the second, will be the third. Any other hand? Because this is the final round. Okay, those three in that order. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Paul Becchiato from Bloomberg. Speaker and Chairperson, both of you are collectively responsible for what happens in the parliamentary precinct as the accounting officers, and also City Hall now as it's been declared part of the precinct. 2015, your predecessor set the precedent of being involved in the security arrangements. Could you give us an idea on what roads will be closed? Have you been briefed on any, by the security and law enforcement departments, on any potential disruption? Have you had any indication from any of the political parties? And for a number of these political parties, this will be the first opening of Parliament address and even State of the Nation type address they're ever involved in. So could you give us an idea of what those arrangements are? If there's a disruption, what will happen? And also, have you spoken to the Chief Whips? I know there was a Chief Whips forum this meeting. Was that brought up there too? Thank you. Sorry, it's a very complex question.
I hope that the presiding officers do get it. Okay, thank you very much. Second hand?
Okay. Joseph Musia. I'm now an independent journalist. Presiding officers, my question is almost the same, but adding to Paul's question on security. Have there been any extra security measures taken to make sure that inside the precinct itself, should there be any disruption or attempts that nobody will be able to jump onto the stage when the president is addressing? And secondly, on the issue of invited guests, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to be specific. Has the former, I know you said it's still finalizing, has the former speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Ngakula, confirmed their attendance? And has former President Jacob Zuma confirmed his? I'm sorry to be doing that specific because I don't want it to be generalized. Thank you.
Okay, the last hand.
My name is Michael Makena from the Independent Meeting. Has Parliament finalized the designation of the official opposition, the seating arrangements, and the speaking times in the House? If they are not resolved, are you anticipating that there will be an issue, especially during the debate on Friday?
Thank you very much. That was the final hand. With regard to, because I don't want to get any presiding officers and the ATP with regard to the issue of the streets, the closing of the streets, etc. It is nothing different from the previous of events that have taken place there, but we do have the channels that we communicate those closures and inconveniences through radio stations, through the working with the city of Cape Town. So that has happened and continues to happen as well. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Well, thank you for taking that question. Just to indicate that with regards to the briefing, when we host such an event, we work with other agencies of state, including Public Works, because some of the issues of venues, that's Public Works' responsibility, whether here or anywhere where that gets designated as the place where Parliament will sit. We work with the security agencies who also brief us on the roles that they play normally. As I indicated in the opening, some of the displays that will be done by the military. So they would have briefed us about any security arrangement that will ensure that the event goes smoothly and safely. You would know that it has been a practice that Parliament will provide what we call the Speaker's Corners or Speaker's Corner, so that those who may be protesting or marching, they will be directed to, and the officials of Parliament will receive the memoranda in order for us to appreciate what are the concerns of those, groupings or organizations. With respect to managing the decorum in the House, that is provided for by the joint rules. And the joint rules are very specific on how we deal with issues of language, how members must conduct themselves in addressing each other or addressing a particular topic, but also how do you deal with disorderly conduct in the House. So it's not something new, it's what is done. And you have observed, some of you, when Parliament is in session, the Speaker or the Chairperson will indicate to the member that in terms of this particular rule, you are either supposed to withdraw your statement or you are supposed to actually take your seat, or if you don't want to withdraw, you may actually exit the House. So there are a number of things that are being done in terms of the rules in managing disorderly conduct. And also, there's also provisions on how the Speaker or the NCOP chairperson will deal with matters that may be a threat to the House in terms of disorderly conduct. So those are provided for in our rules, and that's what we address. With respect to the issue that we have raised about decisions on definitions as well as the sittings, the Rules Subcommittee has met, and they'll be reporting this evening to the Rules Committee on how they have dealt with those matters. Issues of speaking time, those were addressed long before when we constituted committees. We did not only deal with the constitution of committees, but also dealt with the times for speaking proportionally in terms of the size as of what members would have received in Parliament. So there's a particular formula that has been agreed to by members, which is utilized. This other matter with regards to the official position and who sits where, it's matters that will be finalized today in the Rules Committee. So we do not anticipate any challenge. All matters are being discussed, and the whip-parry is always briefed. Like this evening, we would also brief them in detail about what we're briefing you on the state of readiness for tomorrow. So that is done. The programming committees of both houses, they've also been briefed about, the SONA that is coming and how that is factored in the program, because it's the joint house. So even in the speakers list, there will be speakers who will be from the NCOP and speakers who will be in the from the National Assembly. And that's why those joint sittings are chaired by both of us. So we may not give you the exact detail as to whether we will mention several times or how many times. That is provided on the rules in terms of how we conduct the business of the day and where there are challenges. The responses obviously will come to the protocol team about our guests, and that's why the chairperson was saying that is finalized as and when people respond. We have sent invitations, but obviously members will be responding at given times, whether they apologize or they accept. So unfortunately, we may not be able to say to you, this one, usevumile, akakavumi. Sorry to disappoint. We are not able to give you that answer seated here. So bonangomsu, we will see tomorrow who comes finally, because our accreditation closes at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Yes, Bob?
Yes.
You are not happy? Or satisfied?
No, I'm delighted. Thank you. Speaker, I've looked through a number of these, so I'm asking very carefully questions. Are there any extraordinary security measures that have been put in place? It's a very, very careful question, this, because we've asked before, we've had some, let's say, rather unpleasant surprises. Thank you.
Paul, I'm not sure when you say extraordinary what you refer to, but as I assured you, that we have taken all reasonable measures to ensure that the event is safe for you, for all of us who will be in the house.
Sorry, Speaker, to interrupt.
Yes.
Extraordinary, I mean, we've had instances with cell phone jamming in the chamber. We've had riot policemen disguised as parliamentary security. You were there. You remember that?
I may not be able to give you that detail to say who will play what role or what has been done. I think that would be better placed to engage with the security cluster of our country as to what. But from where we're sitting, and as I indicated, there are rules on how we manage disorderly conduct in the house. And in most instances, it's never difficult. We've had only one occasion where there were serious challenges, but under normal circumstances, we manage those within the rules. And the rules does empower us on what we would need to do at what given time, given the exhaustion of our rules, should there be an situation that may not be provided for. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Before we close the media briefing, just a few announcements to say that the statement that the presiding officers were presenting has been shared in the WhatsApp group, and it will also be issued shortly to the rest of the media that is not in the WhatsApp group. We have accredited about over 900 members of the media. Your accreditation tags are ready, waiting for you at Government Garage in Hope Street. It's open until tomorrow at 18 hours, as the speaker was saying. And then, of course, this afternoon we'll confirm time, but I think it's around 3. The presiding officers, together with the ministers, will conduct an inspection in loco at the City Hall, just to assess visually and practically the state of readiness at the City Hall. You are welcome to join. And of course, finally, there will be that regular compulsory briefing that we conduct in the media marquee at the City Hall tomorrow. at 1 o'clock. So we hope that you will have no, don't worry, that one is between myself and my people here.
We were really
I won't-
surprised
I
about
won't need you for
compulsory.
that one. But they know that it's compulsory. So everyone, because the kind of information that we share there is very important for everyone who is covering the opening of Parliament address. So we always encourage you to join in the media market. Thank you very much, Speaker of the National Assembly. Thank you very much, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, and the Secretary to Parliament. Thank you very much. The press briefing is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
They are saying that